Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Today, we continue the world of Anime Marvel Phase 3, Part 2 of the Fallout Saga, The Defender's Road to Shibuya. We continue with today's story, first of two, Black Lagoon, City of the Dead. What if Revy was the Punisher? Season 1, Part 1. Now, for some of you might be wondering, how is Revy going to be the Punisher? The Punisher is typically not a criminal, and in fact, you could argue that a lot of people in Black Lagoon would be on the Punisher's shit list. Well, you're not wrong about that. But the Punisher can stand for many things, be many things, and how Revy chooses to be the Punisher won't be too dissimilar from how Frank Castle is. But this series, at least for season 1, is going to be Revy's origin story of becoming her own version of the Punisher. She will have her own code, her conduct, and her ethics, but she's going to be doing things her way. By no means is she a hero, far from it. But she's not the bad guy, at least not compared to the others that you'll see in this series. And trust, in this series, you will see the worst of the worst. But follow along as we journey into Black Lagoon, City of the Dead. What if Revy was the Punisher? Season 1, Part 1. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. For Rokuro Kajima, he found himself in the southeast China Sea, surrounded by nothing but bright blue waters, matched only by an even brighter blue of the sky, clouds drifting lazily in the wind, and the beating sun shining its rays upon him. For Rokuro, this was his new life. His old one, the one he walked away from about 10 years ago, that was a life that he tried to forget. The old Rokuro, involved in things that many would consider to be nothing more but fantasy. It was a world that Rokuro tried to forget. The kind of world where you watched your best friends die a cruel and grisly death. But you try to accept it. You try to compartmentalize it. You think that you understand everything, but deep down you don't. And Rokuro had seen many things. He had seen his fair share of demons and ghouls and monsters and things that go bump in the night. He fought against them firsthand. And yet, when it was all said and done, he couldn't do it anymore. So he tried to live a normal life. He stepped away from that world, only to find that the world of the ordinary is no better. Trying to climb the corporate ladder, always being on the lower rung, always being someone's footstool, always being kicked around, always being pushed aside. It was almost like no matter where you went in this world, you were always at the bottom of someone's whims, whether it be the practical or the mystical. There was always a secret society. There was always a higher up. There were always those in charge, those who believed that they knew what was best, how the world should be governed, how everything should function. But for Rokuro, at least sitting in a cubicle, dressed in a suit and tie, being kicked around by his regional manager, who he himself was also being kicked around by a manager, and so on and so forth, until you got to the fat, greedy schmucks at the top. You know the ones who enjoyed a bottle of sake in their office and any of the pretty women that they brought over. No girl in the office was allured to their charm. They were the men that went out drinking every night, but always conveniently had a home and family to turn to. They were the most vile of people in this world, but yet their image would say otherwise to everyone else. They were pillars in their community, in their respective towns and homes. They were the people that fathers would point to their sons and tell them they're who you should look up to. The type of men that fathers and mothers believed that their daughters should marry. The kind of scumbags who went around in life and believed they could do anything they wanted simply because they had a wad of cash and a fat-ass bank account. That was their get-out-of-jail-free card, and Rokuro had seen it way too many times. But why was he here? Well, he was just doing a delivery. Of course, this was something that someone else could have handled, but in the end, it was just better off to send good old Rokuro. And it was cheaper, too. But what they couldn't have expected was that they would end up being overrun by pirates. That everyone else would be cowering on the hull of the ship, fearing for their lives as guns were being pointed in their face. But for Rokuro, he didn't really much care. There were two of them. A tall man of the darker side, and a woman, maybe Asian, maybe American, hard to tell. But one thing that was crystal clear were the guns that were now pointed at him. A cutlass and a shotgun, respectively. But for Rokuro, it was more of a nuisance. Guns were a tricky thing. It wasn't that they were hard to beat, they were just hard to detect. And he had been out of practice for almost 10 years now. He hadn't even tried to use that power. It was a lot easier that way, but still, he could feel through the miasma. There were curses all around. They stunk of death. The man with the glasses would take the butt of his shotgun and slam it in the rock's nose. The woman, being ever trigger happy, keeping her gun pressed against his face. Let's be clear, Mr. Japanese man. This here is the dish that you were accompanying by with the Asahi Company. This is the one we're looking for. Yeah, that's it. You know, we're done here. I say we waste them, Dutch. No point in leaving anyone else behind, right? I say we cap this pussy. No need, Revy. We got what we came for. Listen up. In case I haven't made it clear, if any of you try to come after us or cause trouble, that ship right over there, it's got more than enough firepower to send you careening right down to the lower depths of the ocean and straight to your ancestors. But we're not looking for trouble. You're going to wait out here for about 30 minutes. Then you're free to do whatever you want. But if any of you, Revy said with a smile, decide that you want to play hero, you're going to end up like our new friend over here. New friend? Rokuro said. That's right. You're coming with us. Why? Oh, I don't know. Perhaps because I've got this pointed to your head. Is that the answer you're looking for? No, that doesn't answer my question at all. All it does is, okay, smart mouth, how about I just do you a favor and I make you an example? I blow your fucking brains out and you're left swimming with the fishes, damn it! Rokuro had to think. 20 minutes. 20 minutes is about all I should need. Yeah. Of course, I'll probably have to lose a sense of direction out here. But I'll cross that bridge when I get there, he thought. A few of the other hostages looked to Rokuro. Up until now, they always thought that he was a pushover, some low-level nobody, but now here he was, seemingly taking on the sacrifice for them. Thank you, Rokuro. Thank you. Yeah, you don't have to thank me, buddy. And with that, Rokuro was now a hostage. Down in the lower decks of the ship, along with the man known as Dutch, the woman known as Revy, and some computer guy, some guy named Benny. He seemed to be running the logistics of this operation. Rock would be taken down to the lower hull of the ship. As he crossed his legs and closed his eyes, he would begin to focus, tuning out all of the noise, all of the sounds. He knew he'd probably only get one chance, so he figured he'd just use the time, plan out his strategy. The guy in the chair, he doesn't seem to be much of a threat, but I never know. Although I doubt he looks like the type of person that would really want to get into a fight. The big guy is probably going to be an issue, but a few concentrated strikes to the head should take him down. And then there's the girl. She's trigger happy, but if I can disarm her, she shouldn't be able to do anything else outside of kick and scream. If I can just bide my time, the moment we make landfall, I can drop the three of them, grab the disc, and then take cover for now. Hopefully I can make my way back to the Acai company. Who knows? They might even give me a raise out of all of this, Rokuro thought. And for now, he had to focus, drudging up a lot of negative energy. Because now it was time to cleanse himself. About 40 minutes later, they made landfall, arriving to a port town known as Roanapur. The sun was beginning to set as they made their way to the docks. Revy, in her fits of anger, had been shooting around, and Dutch had to finally put her under control. He thought it was best if everyone went for drinks. And Rokuro wasn't going to mind. After all, a drink was a good way to cleanse a lot of his feelings right now, get him nice and limber. Nothing like a good old Scotch bourbon. Of course, he doubt he'd find the strong stuff here like sake, but you should never underestimate the drinking ability of a Japanese businessman. Dutch was even willing to offer to take him along, even giving him a nickname like Rock, because he didn't feel like remembering Rokuro, and that was good enough for him. They would eventually arrive to the tavern in question. It just looked like a place filled with nothing but outlaws, criminals, and the scum of the earth. But that was the aura this whole city was giving off. Rokuro could even see that there were a few spirits lying around, and when no one was looking, he easily dispelled of them. It was just something that came of habit, something his master always used to do. He tried to avoid it, and of course, to people, it just looked like Rock was waving his hand around. Perhaps he was epileptic, some of them thought. But of course, they couldn't see what was really happening. That was the veil between them both. Rock could see the things that they couldn't. To them, it was just the normal way of life. They weren't aware of the true evils that were lurking around. Once everyone had had their fill of drink and were now in a more merry and cheerous state, they made their way outside, heading to the car, planning to head back to their ship and take refuge for the night. You can hold your own in there, eh, Rock? Dutch said. Well, drinking just seems to come with the territory, so thanks for picking up my tab. I wish I could repay you. Oh, you're going to pay us, Rock, Revy said with a smile. After we collect a good ransom on you, then you'll be on your merry way. Yeah, that's the thing, Rock said as he stopped. The other three hadn't walked too far ahead as they turned back to face him. What you stopped for? You forget something? No, I just need to collect. Collect what? And Dutch would be punched in the stomach. And at that same moment, Rock had made sure to grab hold of the disc in question. Dutch was sent a good 20 feet across the ground. As Revy went to pull out her two twin cutlass, she was immediately disarmed as Rock would kick them both out of her hand before kicking her into a dumpster. Benny, not sure of what to do, was surprised when Rock would chop him in the neck and take his keys, twirling them in his hand along with the disc in question. Really, I appreciate it, the hospitality, everything, but I gotta get going now, so see ya. By the time everyone had gotten back to their feet, Rock was gone. He was already driving off, and he knew exactly where he needed to go. It wasn't going to be enough just to drive around this town. He didn't know much about it, but he paid attention to where they had gotten to, and he knew how to get back to their ship in question. Once he got to it, all he had to do was start the boat and make his way out. From there, he could probably use a signal flare or something else to find some real authority, and he could then make his way back to Japan. Although, he did feel a little bad. After all, it wasn't like those three were complete jerks. Well, the guys weren't. The girl was kind of a bitch. But, in the end, he had to do what was best for him. He didn't really like that he had to use his power again, but in the end of the day, it was about survival of the fittest. And the last thing he was going to do was sit around and play damsel in distress. Nah. By the time he arrived to the ship in question, he felt like he had a good head start, although now he had come to the issue of not knowing how to start the boat, and that was going to cost him some precious time. Meanwhile, Dutch, at the last moment, had to commandeer another vehicle as they chased after him. Oh, Dutch! Forget the ransom! I'm gonna murder that bastard! Yeah. I didn't know Mr. Japanese had skills like that. I don't know what was in that punch, but it wasn't normal. Not normal? I can't believe he was actually able to pull some crap like that off, Benny said. But you alright though? Dutch asked him. You don't feel it taking over, do you? Nah, I don't feel it. And thank goodness I don't. Otherwise, I don't think I'd be able to control myself. Yeah, the last thing I need is another loose cannon. He's probably going to be heading back to the ship, although I doubt he knows how to actually power one of those things on the water. So that should buy us some time. I'm going to go in first and pin him down. And if he's still moving, yeah, I got it, Revy said. I'm going to make sure I empty out the whole magazine in his skull. And then I'm going to make it into an ornament. That's a little morbid, don't you think? Benny would say. He tried to screw with us, Benny. We showed him hospitality, and he tried to fucking screw us. So yeah, I take it rather personal. Walking around in that little tie of his, in his little button-up shirt, and his little corporate pants, acting like he's so refined and so gentlemanlike. That smile. I hate that smile that he always flashed. That smile of just acting so smug and mature, acting like he knows a damn thing about us. That smile, that arrogant, I can't wait. I want to see him cry. I want to see him beg. I want to see him piss and shit in his pants right before I end this miserable little... Focus, Revy. We don't know what he's capable of doing. But one thing's for sure. We can't underestimate him. And just as Dutch had predicted, Rock didn't know how to drive this boat. As he made his way back up from the hull, he arrived just in time to see another pair of headlights coming his way. The door immediately flung open as Revy started shooting right towards him and Rock taking cover. Dutch, in the meanwhile, would run ahead as Revy continued to shoot. Is she crazy? She's going to end up hitting her own guy. But wait, how the hell is he still up from that punch? I know I put just enough force to knock the wind out of him. He must be more resilient than I gave him credit. Come on out, Mr. Japanese man, Dutch would say, as he cracked his knuckles getting ready for a fight. As Rock would see, there were some shots that had been fired into him. Revy, even if she was a good shot, was still spraying it around recklessly. She hit Dutch, but he didn't seem fazed. Gotta say, smart of you to try to pull a fast one on us. It's nothing personal. I was just doing what I had to do. After all, you guys kept going back and forth about whether or not you were going to kill me. Let's be for real. You probably killed people for less. Yeah, I can't argue with you there. But look, I'm going to need that disc. Personally speaking, I doubt we're getting anything from you in terms of a ransom. So I think it would just be better off if we go our separate ways. Of course, you're not getting any help from us anymore. You're on your own. But you hand over that disc, you get the hell off of my ship, and you turn your sorry little ass and you walk away and I never see you again, then we can call it even. Agreed? Huh. You're definitely the most reasonable. Although I'll have to say, and shut up! Revy yelled from a distance. Quit hiding and come on out so I can kill you! Kill, kill, kill. That's all you know how to do, huh? I thought you'd be capable of a lot more, Revy, but I guess I was wrong. And what the hell do you know about me? Revy said. I'm capable of a lot of stuff. I don't just kill with guns. I can kill in a lot of ways. And honestly, every second that you keep wasting my time, your death's only going to be a lot more slower and a lot more painful. I figure as much. But respectfully, I'll have to decline. And you'd be better off just putting your guns away. You're not going to be able to do any harm to me. Is that right? Dutch said with a smile. Now he's piqued my curiosity. Hey, Revy. Huh? Put the guns away. Yo, Rock. How's about we settle this like men? What? Oh, please. Now you're just gonna take too long. Don't worry. It's not like he can actually harm me anyhow. So you want to fight me one-on-one? If I beat you, my victory is secure. This arrogant little. Forget about her and him right now. Your only focus is me, Dutch said, waving a finger. All right then, if that's how you want it. Rock would then step out, keeping the disc tucked away safely. As he loosened his tie, he unwrapped it and wrapped it again around his right hand. He then took a deep breath, feeling the energy flow into his body. His hands would have a dim glow that would slowly start to rise. What the hell's going on with his hands? Dutch, Revy said, starting to be a little creeped out. What the hell? What are you? I'm no one special. Just a good old Japanese businessman, Rock said. You sure you want to do this? He asked Dutch. And Dutch just grinned. I knew there was something different about you. No regular man could have hit me like that. So, what's your secret? Science experiment gone wrong? Bitten by a radioactive monster or bug? Well, let me guess. You were cursed by a ghost or some shaman or something like that. No, and I wouldn't say I was cursed. But I hunt them down. At least I used to. So what? Japanese man's now a ghostbuster? I'm a man of many talents. But in the end, that doesn't really matter. Rock would get into a stance. Dutch, more of a street fighter than anything else, although he could tell just from the way he was positioning, He seemed to have some decency when it came to fighting. Probably a boxer, grappler, more along those lines. A few focused strikes should be enough to take him out. The two would begin to circle each other, Dutch towering over Rock, either man waiting to throw a punch. "Well, come on now," Dutch said, "or are you just going to waste my time? If you won't come to me, then I'll come to you." Dutch would throw an overhand, with Rock avoiding. Wide swings, that was his style. Rock would back away until he saw an opening, a kidney shot. "No way," Benny said. "How the hell is he able to fight with Dutch?" "Not bad, kid." "My turn." "Huh?" Dutch would immediately counter with strikes of his own, managing to grab Rock by the scruff of his neck as he landed a gut shot directly, causing him to vomit in that moment all the alcohol he had drank. "You're not the only one with secrets. So what's yours?" "I got caught up in an American prison. They were looking to get this, super soldiers. And that's what you are? I'm sure you know this right now. Revy was trying her damnedest to shoot your dome off, but a few of those shots landed on me. But they can't hurt me. I'm bulletproof. I'm knife-proof. I'm bomb-proof. Fireproof. Basically, there's no way you can pierce my skin. I'm stronger than steel or anything else that you can think of. And believe me, I've been hit with a lot of crap, and nothing's ever left a scar." "I see. So, the irresistible force meets the immovable object. That seems to be the name of the game, Rock." As Rock got back to his feet, he was ready to continue his fight with Dutch until suddenly they heard something in the distance. "Those sound like military choppers," Dutch would say. "Damn, that hurt. But why military choppers? What could they be doing here?" Rock would ask. "It looks like they're after us. Everyone, get on the ship!" Benny would be the first one running, and Revy was close behind. Rock and Dutch would soon follow. "Wait, if you're bulletproof and everything else like you say, then why are you getting on the ship and..." "Look, I might be bulletproof, but the stuff I want to protect isn't. So I'm getting the hell out of here." And immediately, the Lagoon Company would begin its descent into the night, driving themselves through the Congos not too far off of Roanapur, looking to take cover in some of the more forested areas. It was then that Dutch would receive a call from the leader of Hotel Moscow, a group of the Russian mafia. Their leader, a woman who had served in the war during the old times. Her name, Miss Balalaka. "What can I do for you, Miss Balalaka?" Dutch asked. She would inform him of the informant that they had managed to come across, and he had some news. After getting them touched into another line, Rock would get a call he never thought he would. It was from his boss, Mr. Kageyama. Mr. Kageyama? Rock said as he was given the earpiece to speak to. Mr. Kageyama, I know. Mr. Rokuro Kojima. I believe that you've been caught up in some scandalous work recently, and for that I do apologize. I never meant for things to get this far, and your life being put as forfeit was not in the plans at all. Forfeit? What are you? It's safe to assume that you are not completely aware of what you are transporting. I think it's better that way, but there's no need for you to die in ignorance. The Asahi Company deal in many forms of business and industry, even some that many would consider to be not of the legal variety. On that disc, there were Forgive me. I was partaking of a cigar, and I didn't get a chance to put it out before the call. But yes, we participate in warfare, Mr. Rokuro. I won't bore you with the details, but it's things such as missiles, nuclear bombs, and things of that nature, and that disc contained the plans for them. Thankfully, we've been able to rectify the situation, but unfortunately, it is going to have to come at a cost. What cost? Your termination, I'm afraid. I believe that the team of mercenaries we've sent should have arrived to you right about now. Mercenaries? Wait, hold on, you're just going to just let them... Don't worry. We're going to make sure that your name will remain intact. We're going to be promoting you to corporate vice officer, and we'll be making sure that the president and other VPs of the Asahi Company will be attending at your funeral and will speak words on your behalf. Any surviving relatives or anyone you may have or care for, we will make sure that they are compensated well. We thank you for your service, Rokuro, and this will be the last time that we speak to one another. So farewell, and may the gods bless you. And with that, the phone would hang up. Dutch, Revy, and Benny looking over to Rock. You all right there, Rock? Dutch asked. Rock would just hand him the disc as he sat on an old crate. What's the matter with you? You look like someone just shot your mom. I've been fired. Fired? Dutch said. Aw, the little businessman lost his job. And now what? Well, now it looks like we're all dead. Why's that? They've sent mercenaries to kill us. All of us. And if that's not bad enough, Benny would say, we're almost out of fuel. What? Revy said. So what? You're saying we're stuck here? We're stuck here and we've got mercenaries trying to kill us. Revy? No. I'm fine. Revy. I'm fine, Dutch. Revy. I'm fine, Benny. Miss Revy. Shut up, Rock. You should have let me pop them. I told you. We were only getting 20 grand, Dutch. 20 grand! Do we have any more beer? We've got one. I'm taking it, damn it! Now, Rock and the members of Lagoon Company found themselves stuck. Stuck, unintendedly, between a rock and a hard place. This concludes Black Lagoon, City of the Dead. What If Revy Was the Punisher? Season 1, Part 1. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that's come out now and in the future. Stay tuned tomorrow as we continue with Black Lagoon, City of the Dead. What If Revy Was the Punisher? Season 1, Part 2. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings, signing off, and I'll see you next time.